Captain Ryan Blake paced around the bridge of the Defender as he waited for the Vorthak Empire to respond to his explanation. The 5 Imperial patrol ships had taken positions around his vessel, but they had not opened fire. Ryan hoped that meant they were willing to talk instead of fight. "Captain, the Kalari medical transfer is complete," reported Dr. Amy Stone from the medical bay. "All 3 injured crew members are stable. They should recover completely with proper treatment." Ryan felt relief wash over him. At least they had accomplished their main goal of helping the Kalari. But now they faced a much bigger problem, with the Vorthak Empire. "Danny, what can you tell me about Vorthak military tactics?" Ryan asked his intelligence officer. Danny Clark looked up from his computer screen. "Captain, the Vorthak Empire has not fought a major war in over 200 years. They maintain control through intimidation and overwhelming force. Most species surrender rather than fight them." Ryan nodded. "What about their technology? How do our capabilities compare to theirs?" Chief Engineer Pete Johnson spoke up from his station. "Captain, based on our sensor readings, the Vorthak ships use fusion-powered weapons and basic energy shields. Our quantum phase weapons and exotic matter shields are at least 50 years more advanced than anything they have." Ryan was surprised by this information. He had expected the Vorthak Empire to have superior technology, given their reputation and the size of their territory. "Pete, are you certain about those readings?" Ryan asked. Pete nodded confidently. "Yes, Captain. The Defender could probably defeat all 5 of those patrol ships without taking significant damage. But I would not recommend testing that theory unless we have no other choice." Ryan agreed completely. Starting a war with the Vorthak Empire would be a disaster for both species, regardless of who won the battle. "Kelly, any response from the Vorthak Admiral?" Ryan asked his communications officer. Kelly Brown shook her head. "No, Captain. They have been silent for the past 30 minutes. Ryan knew that the longer they stayed in Imperial space, the more likely it was that additional Vorthak ships would arrive. He needed to find a solution quickly. "Captain," said Lisa Park from her tactical station, "I am detecting new contacts approaching our position. It looks like more Vorthak ships." Ryan felt his heart sink. "How many ships, Lisa?" Lisa studied her sensors carefully. "I count 20 ships, Captain. They are much larger than the patrol vessels already here. They look like battle cruisers." Ryan knew that fighting 25 Vorthak warships would be much more dangerous than facing 5 patrol boats. Even with the Defender's advanced technology, those odds were not good. "Time until they arrive?" Ryan asked. "About 2 hours, Captain," Lisa replied. Ryan made a difficult decision. "Jake, move us away from the Kalari ship, but stay in the area. I want to show the Vorthak that we are not trying to escape, but I also want to keep the Kalari out of any potential combat zone." Jake Miller skillfully piloted the Defender to a position about 1 million kilometers away from the Kalari trading vessel. The 5 Vorthak patrol ships followed them, maintaining their defensive formation. "Captain, the Kalari ship is hailing us," Kelly reported. "Put Captain Veltar on the screen," Ryan ordered. The image of the grateful Kalari captain appeared on the main display. "Captain Blake, we cannot thank you enough for saving our lives, but we are worried about the danger you face because of helping us." Ryan smiled at the alien captain. "Captain Veltar, protecting innocent people is what humans do. We do not regret helping you." Captain Veltar's large black eyes showed deep emotion. "Captain Blake, there is something you should know about the Vorthak Empire. They rule through fear and force. They have never retreated from a confrontation with another species." Ryan felt concern growing in his mind. "What are you trying to tell me, Captain Veltar?" "The Vorthak cannot allow your ship to leave their territory without punishment," the Kalari explained. "If they do, other species will think the Empire is weak. They will fight you, even if they know they cannot win." Ryan understood the implications immediately. The Vorthak Empire was trapped by their own reputation. They could not back down from this confrontation without losing face in front of the entire galaxy. "Captain Veltar, is there any way to resolve this situation peacefully?" Ryan asked. The Kalari captain thought for a moment. "The only way the Vorthak can avoid fighting is if they believe your ship represents a threat too great for them to handle. But they would need proof of your capabilities." Ryan had an idea. What if we demonstrated our technology in a way that shows our strength but does not hurt anyone? Captain Veltar's eyes brightened with hope. That might work, Captain Blake. If you can convince them that attacking you would be suicide, they might be willing to negotiate. Ryan ended the transmission and turned to his crew. Pete, is there a way we can demonstrate our weapons without causing any damage? Pete thought about the question carefully. Captain, we could target an asteroid or a small moon. Our quantum phase weapons would produce energy readings that the Vorthak have never seen before. Ryan liked this idea. Danny, are there any suitable targets in this area? Danny checked his sensors. Yes, Captain. There is a small asteroid about 10 million kilometers from here. It is completely uninhabited. Ryan made his decision. Jake, take us to that asteroid. Lisa, prepare to fire a low-power quantum phase blast at the target. I want to show the Vorthak what our weapons can do without starting a war. The Defender moved toward the asteroid with the 5 Vorthak patrol ships following closely. Ryan hoped that his demonstration would convince the Empire that fighting humanity would be a mistake. As they approached the target, Ryan opened a communication channel to the Vorthak ships. Admiral Zextar, we are going to demonstrate human weapon technology. This is not a threat, but rather an attempt to avoid unnecessary conflict. The Defender fired a single quantum phase blast at the asteroid. The energy beam struck the space rock and completely vaporized it in a brilliant flash of light. The explosion created a shockwave that could be detected from thousands of kilometers away. Ryan watched his sensor display as the 5 Vorthak ships quickly moved to a safer distance. He hoped that the demonstration had convinced them that attacking the Defender would be a very bad idea. Captain, we are receiving a transmission from Admiral Zextar, Kelly announced. Ryan took a deep breath. Put him on the screen. The image of the Vorthak Admiral appeared on the display. His yellow eyes showed a mixture of shock and respect that had not been there before. Captain Blake, Admiral Zextar said slowly, that was a most impressive display of your ship's capabilities. Ryan nodded. Admiral, we hope this demonstration shows that humans prefer peace to war. We have no desire to fight the Vorthak Empire. Admiral Zextar was quiet for a long moment. Captain Blake, I must report this encounter to my superiors. The situation has become more complex than I initially anticipated. Ryan felt hope growing in his chest. Maybe they could resolve this crisis without bloodshed after all. Admiral Zextar, we are willing to discuss any concerns the Empire might have about human presence in this region, Ryan offered. Perhaps we can find a solution that benefits both our peoples. The Vorthak Admiral looked thoughtful. Captain Blake, your offer is unexpected. The Empire is not accustomed to negotiating with species we consider to be inferior. Ryan felt a flash of anger at the Admiral's words, but he controlled his emotions. Admiral, perhaps it is time for the Empire to reconsider its assumptions about other species. The galaxy is changing and those who adapt will prosper. Admiral Zextar studied Ryan's face carefully. You speak with wisdom, Captain Blake. However, the decision to negotiate is not mine alone to make. I must wait for orders from Imperial Command. Ryan understood the Admiral's position. We will wait for your response, Admiral. But please understand that we cannot remain in Imperial space indefinitely. The transmission ended, leaving Ryan alone with his thoughts. He had bought them some time, but the approaching fleet of 20 Vorthak battlecruisers would arrive soon. If Imperial Command ordered an attack, the Defender would face the fight of its life. Captain, Danny said from his station, I am intercepting Vorthak communications. It sounds like there is disagreement among their commanders about how to handle this situation. Ryan was interested in this information. What kind of disagreement? Danny listened to his translation equipment for a moment. Captain, some Vorthak officers want to attack us immediately, but others are arguing for caution. They seem to be impressed by our weapon demonstration. Ryan felt encouraged by this news. If the Vorthak were divided about attacking, it might give diplomacy a chance to work. Lisa, what is the status of the approaching Vorthak fleet? Ryan asked. Lisa checked her sensors. They will arrive in about 90 minutes, Captain. I am detecting various ship classes, including some very large vessels that might be dreadnoughts. Ryan knew that dreadnoughts were the most powerful ships in the Vorthak fleet. If they were bringing such heavy weapons to bear against the Defender, the Empire was taking this situation very seriously indeed. "All hands, this is the captain," Ryan announced over the ship's communication system. "We may be facing combat within the next few hours. All departments should prepare for battle stations, but we will—" Captain Ryan Blake stood on the bridge of the Defender as he watched the massive Imperial flagship emerge from faster-than-light travel. The ship was 3 times larger than any vessel he had ever seen, its black hull covered with weapons and armor that spoke of centuries of military power. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the Imperial flagship," Kelly Brown announced from her communications station. "They are requesting permission to come aboard our ship." Ryan felt surprise wash over him. In all the reports he had read about the Vorthak Empire, he had never heard of Imperial leaders requesting anything from alien species. "Kelly, who is making this request?" Ryan asked. Kelly checked her equipment. "Captain, the transmission is coming from Emperor Vaknash himself. He wants to meet with you personally." The entire bridge crew turned to look at Ryan with amazement. The Emperor of the Vorthak Empire wanted to come aboard a human ship for face-to-face negotiations. "Danny, what can you tell me about Emperor Vaknash?" Ryan asked his intelligence officer. Danny Clark quickly accessed his computer files. "Captain, Emperor Vaknash has ruled the Vorthak Empire for over 300 years. He is considered one of the most powerful individuals in the galaxy. According to our records, he has never left the Imperial capital to meet with alien leaders." Ryan realized that this meeting represented something unprecedented in galactic history. The Emperor's willingness to come aboard the Defender suggested that the situation had reached the highest levels of Imperial government. "Lisa, what is the status of the Imperial fleet?" Ryan asked his tactical officer. Lisa Park studied her sensors. "Captain, there are now over 50 Vorthak ships in the area, but they have stopped moving toward us and appear to be taking defensive positions." Ryan made his decision. "Kelly, send a message to Emperor Vaknash. Tell him that he is welcome aboard the Defender. We will meet in our main conference room." 30 minutes later, a small shuttle departed from the Imperial flagship and approached the Defender. Ryan and his senior staff waited in the docking bay as the alien vessel landed in their shuttle bay. The shuttle door opened, and Emperor Vaknash stepped onto the Defender. Ryan was immediately struck by the Emperor's dignified presence. Despite his alien appearance, the Emperor carried himself with the authority of someone accustomed to absolute power. Emperor Vaknash was accompanied by 3 advisors and a small security detail. Ryan noticed that none of the Vorthak were carrying visible weapons, which he interpreted as a sign of good faith. "Emperor Vaknash, welcome aboard the Defender," Ryan said as he stepped forward. "I am Captain Ryan Blake." The Emperor studied Ryan's face carefully. "Captain Blake, I thank you for agreeing to this meeting. The situation we face requires direct communication between leaders." Ryan led the Emperor and his party to the main conference room. The room had been prepared with chairs suitable for Vorthak physiology, and Dr. Amy Stone had ensured that the air mixture would be comfortable for both species. As they took their seats around the conference table, Ryan found himself looking directly at one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Emperor Vaknash's purple skin showed the lines of great age, but his eyes held the sharp intelligence that had built and maintained a galactic empire. "Captain Blake," the Emperor began, "your ship has created a crisis that reaches to the highest levels of Imperial government. We must find a solution that satisfies both our peoples." Ryan nodded respectfully. "Emperor Vaknash, humanity seeks peaceful relations with all intelligent species. We had no intention of creating a diplomatic crisis." The Emperor leaned forward, slightly. "Captain Blake, my advisors tell me that your ship possesses technology that surpasses our own capabilities. How did humanity achieve such rapid advancement?" Ryan chose his words carefully. "Emperor Vaknash, humans have focused our efforts on scientific research and peaceful cooperation. We believe that sharing knowledge and working together produces better results than conquest and competition." Emperor Vaknash was quiet for a moment as he considered Ryan's words. Captain Blake, the Vorthak Empire has grown strong through military power and territorial expansion. Your approach to advancement is foreign to our experience. Emperor Vaknash, different species may take different paths to progress, Ryan replied. What matters is finding ways for our peoples to coexist peacefully. The Emperor's advisor, Science, Minister Telkar, spoke up from his position at the table. Captain Blake, would humanity be willing to share technological knowledge with the Empire? Ryan looked at his own advisors before responding. Minister Telkar, humans believe in the free exchange of scientific knowledge. We would be willing to share appropriate technologies in exchange for peaceful relations and mutual cooperation. Emperor Vaknash's eyes showed interest. Captain Blake, what kind of cooperation do you envision between our species? Ryan had been thinking about this question since the crisis began. Emperor Vaknash, we could establish formal diplomatic relations and create joint research projects. Human medical technology could help Vorthak citizens, while imperial gravitational science could advance human space exploration. The Emperor was intrigued by these possibilities. Captain Blake, you propose that our species work together as equals rather than one dominating the other. Emperor Vaknash, we believe that cooperation between equals produces the best results for everyone involved. Emperor Vaknash stood up and walked to the conference room's viewing window. Outside, he could see both human and Vorthak ships positioned throughout the star system. Captain Blake, for 300 years I have ruled through strength and fear. Other species submit to imperial authority because they cannot resist our military power. Ryan joined the Emperor at the window. Emperor Vaknash, humanity has learned that respect freely given is stronger than obedience forced through fear. The Emperor turned to face Ryan directly. Captain Blake, if the Empire were to establish peaceful relations with humanity, what would prevent other species from challenging our authority? Ryan thought about this question carefully. Emperor Vaknash, an empire built on cooperation and mutual benefit would be stronger than one built on fear. Species would support the empire because it helps them prosper, not because they are afraid of punishment. Emperor Vaknash was silent for several minutes as he considered the implications of Ryan's words. Finally, he returned to his seat at the conference table. Captain Blake, I am prepared to offer humanity a formal alliance with the Vorthak Empire. We would establish diplomatic relations, share appropriate technologies, and cooperate on matters of mutual interest. Ryan felt excitement growing in his chest, but he knew he had to be careful about the terms of any agreement. Emperor Vaknash, such an alliance would need to include protections for smaller species like the Kalari. Humanity cannot be part of an empire that oppresses innocent peoples. The Emperor was surprised by this condition. Captain Blake, you would risk this alliance to protect species that have no connection to humanity? Emperor Vaknash, protecting innocent life is one of humanity's core values. We cannot compromise on this principle. Emperor Vaknash studied Ryan's face and saw the determination there. He realized that humans truly were different from any species the Empire had encountered before. Captain Blake, I agree to your condition. The Empire will establish protections for peaceful species and limit territorial expansion to uninhabited systems. Ryan felt relief wash over him. Emperor Vaknash, humanity accepts your offer of alliance. We look forward to working together for the benefit of all species in this region of space. The Emperor stood up and extended one of his 6 hands to Ryan. Captain Blake, this alliance marks a new era for both our civilizations. The galaxy will be a better place because of what we accomplish together. As Ryan shook the Emperor's hand, he realized that a simple rescue mission had led to one of the most important diplomatic breakthroughs in galactic history. 2 months later, the first joint human Vorthak research station was established in neutral space. Scientists from both species worked together to develop new technologies that benefited everyone in the region. The Kalari traders who had started the entire crisis became the first alien ambassadors to both Earth and the imperial capital. Their testimony about human compassion and Vorthak justice helped establish the new alliance in the minds of both peoples. Captain Ryan Blake returned to Earth as a hero, but more importantly, as the person who had shown that even the mightiest empire could change when presented with a better way forward. The Defender continued its missions of exploration and rescue, but now it carried the flag of the Human Vorthak Alliance. Pirates and hostile species throughout the region learned to fear the combined power of human technology and imperial determination. Emperor Vaknash ruled for 50 more years, and history remembered him as the emperor who transformed the Vorthak Empire from a force of conquest into a guardian of peace and progress. The crisis that began with a simple question, "Why is a human battleship in this sector?" had ended with an answer that changed the galaxy forever. Because humans go where people need help, and true strength comes from those who choose to help rather than harm. Admiral Zextar was promoted to head the new Imperial Diplomatic Corps, where he worked to establish peaceful relations with dozens of. Emperor Vaknash stood in the great throne room of the Imperial capital, reading reports from Sector 7 with growing concern. The Emperor was ancient even by Vorthak standards, having ruled the Empire for over 300 years. His purple skin showed the wisdom lines of age, and his 6 arms moved gracefully as he studied the data on multiple screens. "Summon the High Council immediately," the Emperor commanded his aide. "This situation requires the attention of our greatest minds." Within an hour, the most powerful leaders in the Vorthak Empire had gathered in the council chamber. General Mordash, Science Minister Telkar, Intelligence Director Zulvan, and 4 other high-ranking officials took their places around the circular table. Emperor Vaknash activated a holographic display showing the human ship in Sector 7. "Counselors, we face an unprecedented situation. A single alien vessel has demonstrated technology that surpasses our own capabilities." Science Minister Telkar studied the hologram with fascination. "Your Majesty, the energy readings from their weapon test are remarkable. The humans appear to have mastered quantum field manipulation on a scale we thought impossible." General Mordash looked uncomfortable. "Your Majesty, regardless of their technology, we cannot allow aliens to operate freely in Imperial space. It would set a dangerous precedent." Intelligence Director Zulvan activated his personal tablet. "Your Majesty, I have been reviewing our intelligence files on human civilization. We may have seriously underestimated their capabilities." The Emperor turned his attention to the Intelligence Director. "Explain." Zulvan projected his data onto the main screen. "Your Majesty, humans have made remarkable technological progress in the past 50 years. They have developed faster-than-light travel, advanced medical technology, and now apparently quantum weapons. How did we fail to notice such rapid advancement?" the Emperor asked with displeasure. Zulvan looked embarrassed. "Your Majesty, humans were classified as a low-priority species. We assumed their primitive origins would limit their development. For centuries." Emperor Vaknash felt anger rising in his chest. The Empire's intelligence services had failed to monitor one of the most rapidly advancing species in the galaxy. Science Minister Telkar, could humans have developed this technology through their own research? the Emperor asked. Telkar considered the question carefully. "Your Majesty, it is theoretically possible. Humans appear to have taken a different approach to scientific development than most species. They focus on cooperation and rapid innovation rather than gradual improvement." General Mordash interrupted the discussion. "Your Majesty, Admiral Krath is preparing to attack the human vessel. Should we not focus on military solutions rather than scientific speculation?" The Emperor raised one of his 6 hands for silence. "General, before we resort to warfare, I want to understand what we are facing. If humans can build one ship with such capabilities, how many more might they have?" Intelligence Director Zulvan consulted his files again. "Your Majesty, our scouts report that humans have at least 12 ships of similar design in their fleet. There may be more that we have not detected." The Emperor felt a chill run through his body. 12 advanced human warships could potentially challenge the entire Imperial fleet. This was not a situation that could be resolved through simple military action. "Counselors, what are your recommendations for handling this crisis?" the Emperor asked. General Mordash spoke first. "Your Majesty, we must destroy this human ship to demonstrate Imperial strength. If we appear weak, other species may challenge our authority." Science Minister Telkar disagreed. "Your Majesty, we should attempt to acquire human technology through Negotiation. Their advances could benefit the entire empire. Intelligence Director Zulvan offered a third option. Your Majesty, perhaps we should establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity. They may prove to be valuable allies rather than enemies. Emperor Vaknash considered all three suggestions. Each had merit, but also significant risks. Attacking. The humans might provoke a war that the Empire could not win. Attempting to steal their technology could backfire and create lasting hostility. But establishing diplomatic relations would require the Empire to treat humans as equals, something they had never done with any species. Your Majesty, said Foreign Minister Koltar, who had been silent until now, there is another factor to consider. Admiral Zextar reports that the humans entered Imperial space to rescue Kalari traders from pirates. Their motives appear to be humanitarian rather than aggressive. The Emperor found this information interesting. Minister Koltar, are you suggesting that humans might be genuinely peaceful? Your Majesty, their actions suggest that they value the protection of innocent life over military advantage. This is unusual behavior for a species with such advanced weapons. Emperor Vaknash stood up and walked to the great window overlooking the imperial capital. Millions of beings from hundreds of different species lived and worked in the city below. The empire had grown strong by conquering and subjugating other civilizations, but perhaps it was time to consider a different approach. Counselors, what would happen if we offered to negotiate with the humans as equals? The Emperor asked. General Mordash looked shocked. Your Majesty, the Empire has never negotiated with inferior species. It would undermine our authority throughout the galaxy. Science Minister Telkar disagreed. General, if humans possess superior technology, they are hardly inferior. Negotiating with them could be seen as intelligent rather than weak. The Emperor turned back to face his council. Director Zulvan, what do we know about human diplomatic practices? Zulvan checked his files. Your Majesty, humans appear to prefer negotiation and cooperation to conquest. They have made peaceful contact with several species in their region of space. Have any of these species reported negative experiences with humans? The Emperor asked. No, Your Majesty. All species that have encountered humans report positive relationships based on mutual benefit and respect. Emperor Vaknash made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Counselors, I am going to Sector 7 personally to meet with this human captain. The entire council looked stunned by this announcement. The Emperor had not left the capital in over 50 years. General Mordash stood up quickly. Your Majesty, that would be extremely dangerous. We do not know if the humans can be trusted. The Emperor smiled for the first time during the meeting. General, if the humans wanted to harm us, they could have destroyed our ships already. Their restraint suggests that they can indeed be trusted. Your Majesty, said Science Minister Telkar, if you are determined to meet with the humans, perhaps we should prepare some kind of diplomatic gift to show our good intentions. The Emperor was intrigued by this suggestion. What did you have in mind, Minister? Telkar activated his tablet and showed the Emperor a holographic image. Your Majesty, we could offer to share our gravitational field technology with the humans. It would complement their quantum manipulation capabilities. Emperor Vaknash studied the hologram. Combining Vorthak gravitational technology with human, quantum weapons could produce advances that neither species could achieve alone. Excellent suggestion, Minister Telkar. Prepare a technical database that we can offer to the humans as a gesture of friendship. Intelligence Director Zulvan looked concerned. Your Majesty, what if the humans refuse our offer of negotiation? What if they demand that we withdraw from all disputed territories? The Emperor considered this possibility. Director, if humans are as reasonable as their behavior suggests, they will not make unreasonable demands. But if they do, we can always return to military solutions. General Mordash made one final attempt to change the Emperor's mind. Your Majesty, Admiral Krath is expecting orders to attack within the next few hours. What should I tell him? Emperor. Vaknash walked back to his throne and sat down with the dignity of absolute authority. General, send word to Admiral Krath that he is to take no aggressive action until I arrive in Sector 7. I will take personal command of this situation. The council meeting ended with the Emperor's staff preparing for an unprecedented diplomatic mission. For the first time in the Empire's history, the Supreme Ruler was going to negotiate with an alien species as an equal. As the Emperor's personal flagship prepared for departure, he reflected on the possible consequences of his decision. He could be remembered as the Emperor who brought peace and prosperity to the galaxy, or as the ruler who destroyed the Empire through weakness and poor judgment. But Emperor Voknash had not ruled for 3 centuries by avoiding difficult decisions. The humans had forced him to reconsider everything the Empire believed about strength, intelligence, and leadership. Perhaps it was time for the Vorthak Empire to evolve beyond simple conquest and learn the value of cooperation. The fate of 2 civilizations now depended on a conversation between an ancient emperor and a human starship captain in the depths of space. Captain Blake's expression became serious. "Admiral, we will not abandon innocent people who need our help. The Kalari traders were under attack, and they required medical assistance." Zextar was beginning to understand the human perspective. "Captain Blake, you risked war with the Empire to save the lives of strangers? Admiral, protecting innocent life is one of humanity's core values. We believe that all intelligent beings deserve to live in peace and safety." Zextar had never encountered such thinking before. In the Vorthak Empire, strength was valued above all else. The idea of risking military confrontation to help strangers seemed illogical. "Captain Blake, your philosophy is interesting, but it does not change the fact that you violated Imperial territory. The Empire's laws must be respected." "Captain," Blake leaned forward slightly. "Admiral, what if there was a way to respect Imperial law while also protecting innocent life? Could we work together to find such a solution?" Zextar felt surprise at the human's suggestion. "You propose cooperation between our species?" "Admiral, humans have learned that cooperation often produces better results than conflict. We could share our medical technology to help the Kalari, while respecting Imperial authority in this region." Zextar found himself intrigued by this proposal. The Empire could benefit from advanced human medical technology, especially if it was as advanced as their weapons. "Captain Blake, what exactly are you offering?" "Admiral, we could establish a formal protocol for rescue operations in Imperial space. Human ships would request permission before entering Imperial territory, and Imperial ships would assist in humanitarian missions." Zextar realized that such an arrangement could actually strengthen the Empire's reputation. Instead of being seen as aggressive conquerors, they could be viewed as protectors of the innocent. "Captain Blake, your proposal has merit. However, I do not have the authority to make such agreements. Only the Emperor can authorize treaties with other species." Captain Blake nodded understanding. "Admiral, would you be willing to present this proposal to your Emperor? We believe that cooperation between our peoples could benefit everyone in this region of space." Zextar made a decision that would change his life forever. "Captain Blake, I will recommend to my superiors that we pursue diplomatic talks with humanity. Your species has shown capabilities that demand respect." Before Captain Blake could respond, Zextar's communications officer interrupted urgently. "Admiral, the reinforcement fleet has arrived. Admiral Krath is demanding to speak with you immediately." Zextar felt his stomach drop. Admiral Krath was known throughout the Empire for his aggressive tactics and hatred of alien species. If Krath took command of the situation, all hope for peaceful resolution would be lost. "Captain Blake, I must end this communication. A new Imperial commander has arrived, and he may not be as open to negotiation as I am." Captain Blake's expression became concerned. "Admiral, we hope that reason will prevail. Humanity seeks friendship with the Vorthak Empire, not conflict." The transmission ended just as Admiral Krath's image appeared on Zextar's command screen. Krath was a massive Vorthak with battle scars covering his gray skin. His red eyes showed the fury that had made him famous throughout the Empire. "Admiral Zextar, what is the meaning of this delay?" Krath demanded angrily. "Why have you not destroyed the human vessel?" Zextar straightened in his chair. "Admiral Krath, I have been assessing the situation and exploring all available options." Krath's expression became dangerous. "Admiral, the Only option is to destroy any alien ship that dares to violate Imperial space. Prepare your fleet for immediate attack. Zextar knew he had to act quickly to prevent a massacre. Admiral Krath, the human ship possesses technology superior to our own. An attack could result in heavy casualties among our forces. Krath laughed with contempt. Admiral, no primitive species can stand against the might of the Vorthak Empire. If you are too cowardly to attack, I will take command of this operation myself. Zextar realized that Admiral Krath would not listen to reason. The aggressive commander was determined to attack regardless of the consequences. Admiral Krath, I request permission to attempt one final diplomatic contact with the human ship. Perhaps we can convince them to surrender without bloodshed. Krath considered this request for a moment. Admiral Zextar, you have 10 minutes to convince the humans to surrender. If they refuse, we attack immediately. Zextar quickly reopened communication with the human ship. Captain Blake appeared on the screen again, but this time his expression showed the strain of the developing crisis. Captain Blake, a new Imperial commander has arrived. He has ordered your ship to surrender within 10 minutes, or face attack by our entire fleet. Captain Blake was quiet for a moment as he considered this ultimatum. Admiral Zextar, we cannot surrender our ship to the Empire, but we also do not wish to fight your people. Zextar felt desperation growing in his mind. Captain Blake, you must understand that Admiral Krath will attack regardless of the cost. He believes that Imperial honor requires the destruction of your vessel. Admiral, what would you do in our situation? Captain Blake asked seriously. Zextar thought about the question carefully. Captain Blake, if I were in your position, I would defend my ship and crew to the best of my ability, but I would also seek any opportunity to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Captain Blake nodded slowly. Admiral Zextar, we will defend ourselves if attacked, but we will also continue to seek a peaceful resolution. Perhaps there is still hope for our species to find common ground. The communication ended with both commanders preparing for a battle that neither truly wanted. Zextar looked out at the human ship and wondered if the next few hours would mark the beginning of a new era of cooperation or the start of a devastating war between two advanced civilizations. Admiral Zextar stood in the command center of the Vorthak Imperial Station in Sector 7. He was reading reports on his computer screen when an urgent message appeared. A junior officer ran up to his desk with fear in his eyes. Admiral, we have a situation, the officer said quickly. Our patrol ships have found an unknown warship in our territory. Zextar looked up from his computer. He was a tall alien with gray skin and 4 arms. His yellow eyes showed the intelligence that had made him one of the Empire's best military commanders. Unknown warship? What species does it belong to? The officer checked his tablet. The ship appears to be from Earth, Admiral, but that cannot be correct. Zextar stood up from his chair. Earth was a small planet on the edge of the galaxy that the Empire had been watching for many years. Their intelligence reports said that humans were a primitive species that had barely learned to travel between stars. Show me the data, Zextar ordered. The officer activated a large screen on the wall. An image appeared showing a massive white and blue warship that was unlike anything in the Empire's databases. The ship was enormous, almost as large as an Imperial battlecruiser. This ship is in Sector 7, responding to a distress call from a Kalari trading vessel, the officer explained. Our patrol ships have ordered it to surrender, but the humans are refusing to leave. Zextar studied the image carefully. The human ship had design features that he had never seen before. Its hull looked incredibly strong, and he could see weapon systems that appeared to be far more advanced than anything the Empire used. What do our sensors tell us about this ship's capabilities? Zextar asked. The officer looked nervous. Admiral, our sensors are having trouble getting clear readings. The ship seems to be using some kind of advanced shielding technology that interferes with our scans. Zextar felt confusion growing in his mind. According to Imperial intelligence, humans were still using primitive chemical rockets and basic nuclear weapons. They were supposed to be at least 500 years behind Vorthak technology. Contact Imperial intelligence immediately, Zextar ordered. I want all available information about human military capabilities sent to me within the hour. The officer saluted and ran to carry out the order. Zextar continued to stare at the image of the human ship. Something was very wrong with their intelligence about Earth. An hour later, Intelligence Officer Colvin arrived at the command center. He was a thin Vorthak with pale blue skin who specialized in gathering information about alien species. "Admiral, I have reviewed all our data on human civilization," Colvin said as he approached Zextar's desk. "According to our most recent reports, humans should not be able to build ships like this." Zextar turned to face the intelligence officer. "When was our last detailed intelligence gathering mission to Earth?" Colvin checked his computer tablet. "Approximately 15 years ago, Admiral. We sent a small spy ship to observe their military capabilities." 15 years? Zextar was shocked. "Why have we not updated our intelligence more recently?" Colvin looked embarrassed. "Admiral, humans were classified as a low-priority species. Our resources were focused on more advanced civilizations that might pose a threat to the Empire." Zextar realized that the Empire had made a serious mistake. While they had been ignoring Earth, humans had apparently made incredible advances in technology. The ship in Sector 7 was proof that their assumptions about human capabilities were completely wrong. "What do we know about this specific ship?" Zextar asked. Colvin activated his tablet and read from the screen. "The ship identifies itself as the UES Defender. It appears to be one of Earth's newest battleships. Our patrol ships report that it easily destroyed 3 pirate vessels with weapons they have never seen before." Zextar felt a chill run through his body. If humans could build one ship like this, they could probably build many more. The Empire might be facing a threat they had never anticipated. "Admiral," called out the communications officer from across the command center. "We are receiving a transmission from the human ship." Zextar walked over to the communications station. "Put it on the main screen." The image of a human male appeared on the screen. He had short brown hair and blue eyes that showed intelligence and determination. Zextar had never seen a human before, and he was surprised by how similar they looked to several other species in the galaxy. "This is Captain Ryan Blake of the Earthship Defender," the human said calmly. "We are responding to a distress call from a Kalari trading vessel. We have no hostile intentions toward the Vorthak Empire." Zextar stepped forward. "Human Captain, I am Admiral Zextar of the Vorthak Imperial Fleet. You are in violation of Imperial space. Your presence here could be considered an act of war." Captain Blake's expression did not change. "Admiral, we are simply helping innocent people who are under attack. We will leave your territory as soon as the injured Kalari receive medical attention." Zextar studied the human captain's face. The man seemed sincere, but Zextar could not understand how such an advanced ship could come from a primitive species like humanity. "Captain Blake, how did your people acquire the technology to build such an advanced warship?" Zextar asked directly. The human captain looked puzzled. "Admiral, we built this ship using human technology. Our scientists and engineers have been working for decades to develop new propulsion systems, weapons, and defensive capabilities." Zextar felt confusion growing in his mind. "You claim that humans developed this technology independently?" "Of course," Captain Blake replied. "Why would you think otherwise?" Zextar did not answer the question. He could not admit that the Empire had been completely wrong about human capabilities. Such an admission would make the Empire look weak and incompetent. "Captain Blake, regardless of your intentions, you must leave Imperial space immediately," Zextar said firmly. "If you refuse, we will be forced to consider you a hostile threat." The human captain was quiet for a moment. "Admiral, we will not abandon people who need our help. That is not the human way." Zextar ended the transmission and turned to his staff. The situation was more complicated than he had expected. The human ship was clearly more advanced than Imperial vessels, but its captain seemed to be genuinely interested in peace. "Admiral, what are your orders?" asked the tactical officer. Zextar thought carefully about his options. If he attacked the human ship and lost, it would be a disaster for the Empire's reputation. But if he allowed humans to operate freely in Imperial space, it would set a dangerous precedent. "Send a message to Imperial Command," Zextar ordered. "Tell them we have encountered an advanced human warship and request immediate reinforcements." As his staff carried out the order, Zextar continued to stare at the image of the human ship. He had a feeling that this encounter was going to change everything the Empire thought they knew about the galaxy. 3 hours later, Zextar received a response from Imperial Command. General Mordash appeared on his private communication screen with an expression of concern and anger. "Admiral Zextar, your report about this human vessel is difficult to believe," the general said. "How can a primitive species suddenly possess technology superior to our own?" Zextar had been dreading this conversation. "General, I have personally observed the human ship's capabilities. They destroyed 3 pirate vessels with weapons that appear to be based on quantum manipulation technology." General Mordash's 4 eyes widened with shock. "Quantum manipulation? Admiral, our own scientists have been trying to develop such weapons for over 200 years without success. I understand your surprise, General. However, the evidence is undeniable. This human ship represents a level of technology that we have never encountered before." General Mordash was quiet for a long moment as he considered the implications. "Admiral, have you determined how humans acquired such advanced technology? Perhaps they formed an alliance with one of the more advanced species in the Outer Rim." Zextar shook his head. "General, the human captain insists that they developed this technology independently. I have found no evidence to suggest otherwise." "That is impossible," General Mordash stated flatly. "No species advances from primitive chemical rockets to quantum weapons in just a few decades. There must be another explanation." Zextar understood the general's disbelief. The idea that humans could achieve such rapid technological progress challenged everything the Empire believed about the natural order of galactic civilization. "General, what are your orders regarding the human vessel?" Zextar asked. "General," Mordash thought carefully before responding. "Admiral, the Emperor has been informed of this situation. He is deeply concerned about the implications of advanced human technology. You are ordered to capture this ship and bring it to the Imperial capital for study." Zextar felt his stomach tighten with worry. "General, I do not believe we have sufficient forces to capture such an advanced vessel. I recommend requesting additional ships before attempting such an operation." "Admiral, you have 20 ships under your command. Surely that is sufficient to handle one alien vessel regardless of its capabilities." Zextar realized that General Mordash did not truly understand the situation. The human ships. Captain Ryan Blake stood on the bridge of the UES Defender and watched the stars through the main window. The ship was huge and powerful, one of the newest battleships that Earth had ever built. Its white and blue hull stretched for almost a mile, covered with weapons and shields that could protect it from almost any attack. Ryan had been the captain of the Defender for 2 years. He was 35 years old with short brown hair and calm blue eyes. His crew trusted him because he always made good decisions, even when things got dangerous. Today they were on patrol duty near the edge of human space, looking for pirates or other threats. "Captain, we are picking up a signal," said Lieutenant Lisa Park from her station. She was the ship's tactical officer, responsible for weapons and defense systems. Lisa was 28 years old and one of the best tactical officers in the Earth fleet. Ryan walked over to Lisa's station. "What kind of signal?" "It sounds like a distress call, Captain. The signal is coming from about 2 light hours away. It is in the Kalari language." Ryan knew about the Kalari. They were a peaceful alien race that looked like tall, thin humans with silver skin and large black eyes. The Kalari had made contact with Earth only 6 months ago. They were traders who traveled between different star systems, selling goods and sharing information. "Can you understand what they are saying?" Ryan asked. Lisa worked at her computer for a moment. "Yes, Captain. They are saying that pirates are attacking their ship. They are asking for help from anyone who can hear them." Ryan thought about this situation. The Kalari were friends of humanity and they needed help. But the distress signal was coming from outside human space. If the Defender went to help them, they would be crossing into territory controlled by other alien races. "Danny, where exactly is that signal coming from?" Ryan asked his intelligence officer. Danny Clark looked up from his station. He was a young man with red hair and green eyes who knew more about alien politics than anyone else on the ship. "Captain, the signal is coming from Sector 7. That area is controlled by the Vorthak Empire. Ryan felt his stomach tighten. The Vorthak Empire was huge and powerful. They controlled hundreds of star systems and had been expanding their territory for thousands of years. The Empire had never attacked Earth, but they had also never been friendly. Most human ships stayed away from Vorthak space. How long would it take us to reach the Kalari ship? Ryan asked. About 30 minutes at maximum speed, answered the pilot, Lieutenant Jake Miller. Jake was a skilled pilot who could fly the Defender better than anyone in the fleet. Ryan walked to the center of the bridge and looked at his crew. They were all good people who had trained for years to serve on Earth's most advanced warship. He knew they would follow his orders, whatever he decided to do. Captain, said Chief Medical Officer Dr. Amy Stone from her station, if the Kalari are under attack, people might be hurt. They will need medical help as soon as possible. Dr. Stone was 40 years old with gray hair and kind brown eyes. She had saved many lives during her career and cared deeply about helping anyone who was injured, no matter what species they were. Ryan made his decision. Jake, set course for the distress signal. Maximum speed. Captain, are you sure? Danny asked. If the Vorthak Empire sees us in their territory, they might think we are invading. Ryan nodded. I understand the risk, Danny, but we cannot let innocent people die when we have the power to help them. The Defender turned toward the distress signal and accelerated. The ship's engines were more powerful than anything the Vorthak had ever seen. They used new technology that Earth scientists had developed by studying exotic matter and energy fields that most alien races did not understand. 25 minutes later, they found the Kalari ship. It was a small trading vessel with silver hull and blue lights. 3 pirate ships were attacking it with lasers and missiles. The Kalari ship's shields were failing, and it looked like it might explode at any moment. Lisa, target the pirate ships, Ryan ordered. Use minimum force. We want to disable them, not destroy them. Lisa worked quickly at her controls. The Defender's weapons were far more advanced than anything the pirates had ever faced. The ship fired 3 precise shots that disabled the pirate vessels without killing anyone on board. The pirate ships stopped attacking immediately. Their engines were damaged, and their weapons were offline. They began to drift away from the Kalari. Traitor. Captain, the Kalari ship is hailing us, said Communications Officer Kelly Brown. Kelly was a young woman with blonde hair who spoke several alien languages. Put them on the main screen, Ryan said. The image of a tall Kalari appeared on the bridge's main screen. His silver skin was pale with fear, but his large black eyes showed relief and gratitude. Human vessel, I am Captain Veltar of the trading. Ship Bright Star, you have saved our lives. We are grateful beyond words. Ryan smiled. Captain Veltar, this is Captain Blake of the Earthship Defender. Are any of your people injured? Yes, Captain Blake. 3 of my crew are hurt, and our ship's life support system is damaged. We need medical help. We will beam medical supplies. To your ship immediately, Ryan said. Dr. Stone, prepare emergency medical kits for Kalari physiology. Dr. Stone was already moving toward the medical bay. Ready in 5 minutes, Captain. As the medical supplies were being prepared, Danny Clark called out from his station. Captain, I am detecting multiple ships approaching our position. They are Vorthak Empire vessels. Ryan felt his heart beat faster. How many ships, Danny? 5 ships, Captain. They will arrive in about 10 minutes. Lisa checked her tactical display. Captain, they are patrol ships. Smaller than us, but they outnumber us 5 to 1. Ryan knew that the Defender could probably defeat 5 Vorthak patrol ships, but he did not want to start a war. Earth was not ready to fight the entire Vorthak Empire. Kelly, try to contact the Vorthak ships. Tell them we are on a rescue mission, and will leave their territory as soon as the Kalari are safe. Kelly worked at her communication station. Captain, the Vorthak ships are responding. They say that any foreign military vessel in their territory is considered an act of war. They are ordering us to surrender immediately. Captain Veltar's image was still on the main screen. Captain Blake, you must leave now. The Vorthak will not listen to reason. They will attack you for helping us. Ryan looked at the Kalari captain with determination. Captain Veltar, we do not abandon people who need help. That is not the human way. The Vorthak ships were getting closer. Ryan could see them on the tactical display as 5 red dots moving toward their position. Each dot represented a warship with enough firepower to destroy a small city. Captain, what are your orders? Lisa asked. Ryan took a deep breath. He knew that the next few minutes could determine whether humanity would have peace or war with one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. Raise shields and charge weapons, but do not fire unless they fire first, Ryan ordered. Kelly, keep trying to talk to them. Maybe we can solve this without fighting. The defenders' shields activated with a blue glow that surrounded the entire ship. The weapon systems powered up, ready to defend against any attack. But Ryan hoped they would not have to use them. As the Vorthak ships approached, Ryan realized that this simple rescue mission had become something much bigger. The decisions he made in the next few minutes could change the fate of 2 entire civilizations.